Now moving on to the next piece of the handle. Let's make our references visible. We're going to do the stick. Let's hit spacebar 3. And you'll notice that it's thinner on top and wider on the bottom. Right now, we're going to treat this as if it was completely straight. And then we're just going to apply this distortion at the end. That's the easiest way to model all these details. Now we'll start with the centerpiece, the stick, which is kind of a leather piece. So we're going to be using another tube. Let's actually copy these two. So this is just a tube with some dimensions. Let's keep it at 0.02 and here 0.02. 0.05. And we're still going to want to align the top of the tube with the bottom, but this time it's not going to be with the bottom of the hammerhead. It's going to be with the bottom of this piece. So let's have a look at that piece. So we can use the normal 9 as a reference here on the transform where we have the expression and we're using clip 4. So it's aligning there. We're going to switch clip 4 by normal 9. You can actually copy, Control C, and go over here and just replace the name of the node that we want to reference. And as you can see, it automatically adjusts. Again, the advantage is that if we decide that that piece would be bigger, let's say the height would be bigger, our stick would automatically update as well. Great, so now we need to adjust the values here so the height is much higher. I'm gonna make it a bit bigger than what we need, just so it intersects the other piece. Something like this, it's fine. And the next element is gonna be just adjusting the radius, making sure that we're not perfectly symmetrical, even though it's a drawing thing, so don't worry too much about that. And we know it needs to be a little thinner than the piece we've done before, so we can actually template this one and adjust the value here for the radius. And going into millimeters, increasing this a bit. I think this is perfect. Great. Again, we have 64 Shift W to view to have a look at the viewport, and we have a lot of resolution here, and this is going to give us enough detail on the surface for us to actually apply that. So now we have the stick, okay, and we need to add those extra details. The way I'm going to create those details, let's have a look at them. Let me just make this visible. The way I'm going to apply those details, create this shape, this particular shape, is actually by intersecting, applying a boolean, using a boolean to generate this shape on the surface of this element. And for that, I'm going to start with the curve. Let's make it visible. Hit enter to start drawing. And I'm going to leave a good margin here. So something coming from here, 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 and across. Again, this is going to be symmetrical, so I'm not worried about crossing that line. I'm going to hit enter to finish this. Yeah, so the first thing I'm going to do is this curve is not even curved. Okay, so this looks terrible, but we're going to use resample to the rescue. Before we use resample to give us a lower resolution on a certain curve when we imported the runes, and in this case we're going to do the opposite. So I want to apply the resample, but instead of having less resolution, I'm going to lower this value a lot, like 0.0025. Let's see the points that we have. So we have a lot more points, and right now they're just being applied on the straight lines, on the straight segments. Not really that interesting. But we have this ability here of treating polygons instead of straight edges as subdivision curves. Notice how much better it looks now. The beautiful thing about this is that we can select this node, even though we're displaying the resample, we can select this node and adjust the points while looking at the final result. Okay, let me see. And that's it. Now, the next step of this process is going to be for us to actually use the same strategy as we used when we wanted to carve the detail on the side of the hammer's head. We're going to use the same approach, meaning that I'm going to hit escape here. I'll hit escape, and we're going to use a sweep. So we have the curve, we need the section. Let's create a grid as we did before. It's gonna need, just need 2 rows, 2 columns, and we're gonna need it to be really small. 0.05 and 0.005, something like this. And let's see what this gives us if we use the sweep. So here we have the cross section, and here we have the path. I'm going to hit spacebar 1, have a look at what's happening. So we don't have any orientation to this, for this. And let me just... Okay, so it's completely chaotic. The size of the section might be too small here. Just put 5 there, or 0.01. Okay, so we have a bit more thickness. It's more like this. And same thing as before. So if we want to make sure that the section is copied properly to the points, it's we apply exactly the same principles as we used before for copy to points. So these points need to have normals and need to have an up vector. We can do that with polyframe. We used the polyframe before as well. And we saw that polyframe can give us a normal and a tangent. Let me hit Control, middle mouse button, and we can see the tangent. Let me turn on the normal as well. Okay, so we have normals and the tangent. Great. This will work perfectly as, I think this is going to work really well if we use this as an up vector. The tangent can be our up vector. Let's change the name to up. I'm going to hit Control, middle mouse button, just make sure that the tangent isn't visible. It's probably still visible, so I'm just going to disable it here. Change the name to up. So now if we go to the sweep, they're properly aligned. Well, not exactly. We need to change the dimensions here on the grid. So let's say that this is 0.005 and this is 0.1. Yep, wide enough. And on the sweep, let's say we want to output, same as before, we want to output the skin with auto closure. Great, let me hit the points, hide the points. Now, we have the same problem as before. I'm going to hit spacebar 3 to go back to front view. Remember, the line was again created on the bottom, following the bottom of the shape. And the grid is just passing, the path is passing on the center of this cross section. So we need to pull the cross section up, and we need to grab this parameter, base relative references. Remember, I just copied this unit, and we want to apply this offset, half divided by 2. Now it looks good. We need to hit spacebar 1. This is open, so we need to close it. Let's apply a poly cap. Great. Now we also want to mirror to the other side. I'm going to hit spacebar 3. We want to mirror this, and we've done this before as well. So once you're familiar with certain techniques, you'll see that these strategies are very versatile, and you end up using them a lot. So let's, besides the clip, we want to make a clip on this direction. So it's X axis. So 1, 0, 0 on the other direction. So we can keep the primitives below. Great. And now we do a mirror. And it's exactly what we were going for. So now we have this shape, And the goal, let's make sure we have normals on this. I'm going to hide the references. This is looking a bit strange. It's probably inverted. Let me just make sure. I'm going to put a reverse here. Yep. So sometimes this happens. Sometimes when you create a skin, the vertices get turned inside out. And if you use the reverse, so this is what we had before, when you see this kind of bluish tint, it kind of indicates that you're looking at the back face of your polys. So if you apply reverse, it's just going to twist them, and then you apply the normal and everything's going to look correctly.